Early. My God, I actually spoke with Dev on Twitter, and the more I talk with him, it's like, how can he think like this? Is my question. So I'm going to talk about him on the stream for a little bit because this summons him. He's like Beetlejuice. You say Dev 3 times, he pops in your chat. Like Bloody Mary, you say his name 7 times while looking into the window, and you see your chat in the window with Dev inside. I will wait for more people to join, and then we're going to gossip about him. It's just mind-boggling. I don't. It's just. I think like the same way he can't understand that America is systemically corrupt. I can't understand that he can't understand it. It's It was so shocking. I was shocked. Yeah, it is shocked. It is shocked. Anyway, right. I did play Neopets when I was younger. Someone asked. It was like one of the first browser games that I was introduced to. Back then, this was a novelty feature. The idea of playing multiplayer with thousands of other people, it was like, wow. This was in a time when you had LAN parties, and in order to connect to play with somebody, you had to get their IP, and you'd connect with TCP IP. I don't know how many of you remember those days, but yeah. So Neopets was very popular. I understand that it still exists now. Like you can still play Neopets now. I don't know why anyone would wanna, but it's apparently an option. Nuke Zone was another game that I played, and another one was Utopia, where you had various kingdoms, and you had like fantasy kingdoms. You would build up your army. It was kind of cool because you didn't have to pay money. It wasn't pay to win, right? There's a lot of games like that now, where it's kind of like real time. Like imagine this, right? You're playing the king of some fantasy kingdom, and you train 1,000 soldiers, but it lasts like 2 days to train them, like real days, right? So every morning before going to school, you would log in, you would give the commands for your kingdom, like what to do, what to build, what, right? And then you'd go to school, and you forgot about it until the next day. And the next day you'd log in and you'd see what happened. It's like, oh, someone attacked you. All right, well, let's attacking back. That type of thing was actually kind of fun. That like you don't have those games anymore because now those games they require you to pay, right? So you can pay to speed up the process basically, and it's like, well, it's not fair to fight against someone that is using his mommy's credit card. All right, hold on. Putin signed an order instituting that the state of Alaska to the United States was illegitimate. That really? No fucking way. So apparently this just did. I got it from Artemis Fowl. Putin signed an order insinuating that the sale of Alaska to the United States in 1867 was illegitimate. I mean, if this is true, this is massive trolling to the West. What is it going to do? Like declare war on the United States in order to get back Alaska? Yeah, the thing is, I understand the Russians were very pissed off that they sold it for so little because it had oil. So, where's the Republicans saying that the United States should cede territory to prevent war? Then, where are they? Where are they? Yeah. Anyway, right. Ame-san, thank you for the $5. You've reminded me of when I left SimCity 2000 running all night. I woke up and half the city burned to the ground. Oh, many such cases. I remember like talking in school. Many of us were young back then. I think I was like 13 or 14 years old. And I was talking with other colleagues that were also playing similar games. And staying awake during the middle of the night when you are that young was actually quite difficult. And they were telling me how like they were playing StarCraft and they were almost asleep, like they're almost asleep, and then they feel their eyes closing, and then when they open their eyes, their entire base is on fire and Zerlings are everywhere. Anyway, right, Artemis Fowl, are you here? I wanna gossip about Dev, and I'm going to say his name 5 more times, and he's going to pop up in the chat. Alright. This is something that I genuinely don't understand. So there's this video going around, which basically shows how Texas is handling the border versus how the feds were handling the border. So the federal government had like this big crane that lifted the barbed wire and allowed illegals to just come into the country, right? And now the Texan state troopers, they're just like guarding the border normally, and they told people to turn back, and they're arresting people that are going into the country illegally, right? And you have Dev looking at it, and he's saying, no, it's not government corruption. This is incompetence. I'm like, how the fuck? That, like, dude, there's no fucking way. That, like, come on. Like, there is no way that you can see when the Fed is guarding the border. You have, like, people allowing it. No, they do it out of empathy. Said Dev. They just care about the illegals. Like, how the fuck do they get, like, why do they have empathy for the homeless? Or for the drug addicts in Scat Francisco? What is the empathy for those? How? Like, no. You like, he's trolling me. There's no fucking way. There is no fucking way. So like, I even show him a clip of a left-leaning politician, this black lady, and she's saying that immigrants are good because, like, more immigrants gives her more congressional power, like more electoral votes, right? More people in her state gives her more. And I'm like, look, Dev, this is fucking government corruption. Look at it. And he's like, no, this is just like one person being corrupt. I'm like, come on. Oh, really? Oh, no. No, but unironically, like, how can you convince someone that's like that, you know? And the thing is, like, you need to prove it's corruption. Well, I almost did, I guess, when Julian Assange was spying on the government. Unfortunately, he got arrested. So, I'm sorry, Dev, if I can't spy on the U.S. government. If I can't surveil the U.S. government the same way that they surveil their citizens, I'm sorry, I can't prove it. You're right. Jake Martin, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. But it's not only that, right? It's he keeps saying, like, you need to prove corruption. I'm like, well, you need to prove incompetence then. Why would you assume that they're incompetent? Why is that, like, your first go-to? It's like they're incompetent. And my favorite is that even when you prove that there is corruption, he will say, well, it's just one person. Like, come on, no. He also says, well, actually, you can't have all these politicians, like, conspiring and working in lockstep with one another. It's like, okay, so basically when the United States had the war in Iraq, and they were going in there to fight weapons of mass destruction, it was incompetence, wasn't it? This is, like all of those politicians, they weren't pushing forward. They weren't lying to the people. It was just like incompetence. Oh, God. And it's interesting because in Russia, he does believe that it happens. Like he understands that in Russia, like systemic corruption exists, but he's like, well, it's due to the history of Russia. See, America didn't have the history. They didn't have communism. They didn't have all... Why are they a requirement, though? Why is communism a requirement for corruption? Mexico didn't have any of that shit. Mexico is fucking corrupt. It's literally over the border. And even if you want to make that argument and you say, well, like, different people, different culture. Well, if you're going to allow millions of people coming in from a corrupt country, aren't they going to bring in some of their culture with them? It's just, oh, fucking hell. Like, come on. I looked at the evidence, and I've seen the detailed process of how government investigated themselves. Well, okay, let me explain to you how disingenuous this is, right? And this is the argument that I gave to Dev. Like, imagine you go out and you see someone trying to carjack your car. Is that how it's said? Like carjack your car, or someone trying to carjack you? Someone trying to jack your car. Okay. And you go to that person and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And that person says, oh, I am so sorry. I thought that this is my car. My mistake. And that would be like, oh, wow, that sounds legit. Yeah, no, like that must be a very incompetent person. He just accidentally thought that my car was his. Oh, tee hee hee. I'm so glad we cleared that up. It would have been such a blunder, such a kerfuffle if I wasn't here to stop it. But luckily, luckily we had this conversation. Of course, he said that, well, yeah, but like the government isn't one person. Ah, fine. God. No, but I genuinely do not understand why give the government the benefit of the doubt every single fucking time. They wouldn't give you the benefit of the doubt, by the way. Like, if the government suspects you of doing some shit, like, they're not going to be like, oh, well, maybe you are just incompetent, maybe. The reason the US doesn't have systemic corruption is because we still get bad when we find corruption. Systemic is when you don't even get phased and just enable it. Do you want to talk about woke ideology and how fucking corrupt that is? The entire ESG shtick is literally corporations trying to appear that they care about woke ideology so they get loans. And once they do get the loans, the CEO usually ends up having a golden parachute. But here's an interesting point, right? Like, the US doesn't have corruption and people are appalled. Did you see what happened to Harvard? Did you see what happened to Harvard? How plausible is that a person in 2024, with all of the technology that we have, with all of the, I mean, just so you know, like at med school, we had applications that would go through your entire medical diploma to see if there's any plagiarism. And it would do it in less than 5 minutes, right? So, like, you submitted your diploma, and it had to go through this program, which immediately, like, flagged any type of repetition. And you're telling me that the president of Harvard, right, which was accused for plagiarism, you're telling me that person didn't get there because of systemic corruption at Harvard? And when people found out what was happening, what did they do? Did she resign? No. They tried to change the definition of plagiarism. Only after much constraints did she step down. No. The idea that like Americans care about corruption, no. People are fine with corruption. I mean, the whole concept of ESG is pure corruption. Like, you're hiring people based on identity. That's literally the same like hiring based on nepotism. I don't see any fucking difference, chat. None whatsoever, right? Like, why do so many African countries fare so poorly? And one of the main reasons, and they don't say this on poll, by the way, but one of the main reasons is because they hire based on nepotism. Anyone that worked in Africa, like, you'll know that, and when I say Africa, yes, hashtag all the countries have this problem. All of them. They hire based on nepotism. Now, when you hire based on nepotism, you're not hiring based on merit. When you're not hiring based on merit, you're going to have corruption. And all of the companies, they're going to underperform because you're not hiring the best person for the job. In the United States, they're not hiring based on nepotism. They're hiring based on identity politics. Same shit at the end of the day. Literally same shit. It's just like one is institutionalized nepotism. The other one is just like, oh, you happen to know the guy who knows the guy, so you get hired. But all in all, it is detrimental to the economy. It is detrimental to the product that is being made. It is detrimental to the customer. And in America, it's institutionalized. It's not even like you have like this company that's you're like, no, you want to get the ESG money, you gotta hire based on nepotism. and it's the idea. Well, Americans like they don't react kindly to corruption. Okay, fine. Didn't the Hunter Biden laptop story got suppressed? What did the Americans do? Were they like how did they react to this level of corruption? Didn't you have like Nancy Pelosi during the middle of the pandemic when everything was shut down and locked up, and she went to do her hair? What did the Americans do about that? Like, don't give me like, oh yes, like we don't tolerate corruption. No, you do, you absolutely do. Especially in Scat Francisco. Yeah, she still has a high-paying position in Harvard. Like that's another thing, you know. It's like, oh well, she stepped down as president. Who the fuck cares? She's still rich, makes more money than you. Like in any normal and sane society, for what she did, she wouldn't be a professor. Like if you do that in Romania, you're not a professor. If you're a student and you plagiarize, you get expelled from the university. That's how serious it is. Anyway. Fucking hell. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about American corruption. Alright. Just. By the way, who triggered me with the thing? Chairman Cam, I hope you're still here because you triggered me. Fucking hell. Let's talk about how institutionalized corruption is in America, okay? In Europe, in most countries in Europe, actually, not the European Union. European Union has the same problem. But in Europe, if you are a politician, and let's say I go to a politician and I give him money so that he promotes a law that I want, that is called corruption. Both me and the politician would go to prison. Theoretically, you know, like if they catch you, if they have evidence, I mean, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but like legally speaking, if you bribe a politician, right? It's called a bribe. If you give him money to vote in one way on a legislation, or if you give him money so that he proposes a legislation, or he can whatever, that is corruption. In America, it's called lobbying. I wonder if they give you a receipt. They probably give you a receipt, right? Like, corruption is legal. Just because corruption is legal doesn't mean that it's okay. Like, I don't think it's normal for a politician who is supposed to represent the people that voted for him to be able to take money from a third party, like, I don't know, like a pharmaceutical company or some shit, so that they can impose legislation despite of what the people... No. Romania doesn't have body cams yet. I think we have like the traffic police. Yeah, like the traffic police. I think like they have cams on the car. So it used to be like everyone was bribing the police officer, but now it's a crime. So yeah, lobbying. God. No, seriously, like, I reject the concept that corruption is this magical thing that only happens in Eastern Europe, right? Like, you can only perform this miracle in Eastern Europe. If you go to the United States, it's not doable. Agree that we get super angry about it. You know who doesn't? Russians. Oh, come on. Of course they do. Of course they do. Like, just because you don't know it, because you don't hear about it in the news. Yes, they do. And in entire Eastern Europe, like, they have this whole thing. It's like, oh, well, we're going to fight corruption. Corruption kills, etc., etc. They do, but what can they do about it? You know, do you think, like, people don't get angry about the cartels in Mexico? Of course they do, but, like, what can they do? You know, like when it gets to a certain level, sure, you can get angry about it, but, like, so what? You don't fucking care. It's the same with, like, in America... Right? Just because, like, they're suppressing the information and most of the public doesn't know, that doesn't necessarily mean that people, that it matters if people get upset or not. Hi V, hope you are doing well. You sound better. I'm in agreement with you that lobbyists should not be allowed at any level of the U.S. government. Well, let me tell you something even more hilarious from my country. So... In Romania, as I mentioned, if you pay a politician, if you lobby a politician, it's called corruption and it's a bribe, right? But you can do that with the European Union. So you can do lobby in the European Union, and then they can pass a legislation that affects Romania. They don't. I am from there, and I would never say that it's a good thing. The problem is when you say there's nothing we can do. But there literally is nothing you can do. Like what can you do? What can you do? No, seriously. And the thing is, I will tell you why there is nothing you can do. Because corruption is part of human nature. Like, what is corruption? Let's analyze what the thing is. Corruption is when a person places his self-interests in front of the job that he is assigned to do. Right? So kind of like a game developer who gets a new IP, and they got the new Indiana Jones, and the first thing they do is like, they're the senior writer, and they're like, okay, how can I make Indiana Jones for a modern audience? In other words, how can I make Indiana Jones woke, right? Like, corruption is when Kathleen Kennedy is tasked to make entertainment, and she's like, how can I self-insert myself into Star Wars? That's what corruption is. It's when a person puts their self-interests in front of what the job is. It's human nature. You can't, it's not like some countries have it and others don't. Yes, you literally can't do anything simply because people are egotistical and they will put their interests in front of others. Now if they think they can get away with it, then they will do it more often. So, how can you stop corruption? Well, you can't. So what can you do? Well, the only thing you can do is to limit the government, right? The bigger the government is, the more likely is that the corruption is going to seep into every aspect of your life. If the government is small, it doesn't matter if it's corrupt, because it can't seep into every aspect of your life. Does that make sense? Right? So like in the case of the Russians, are they going to make a smaller government? No, they can't. They can't, because Russia isn't just like one nation. It's actually like different ethnicities. It's actually more diverse than the United States. If you don't have like a firm hand, like if you were to actually have like democracy in Russia, you'd probably end up with a civil war. So they really can't do anything about it. Corruptions. Georgia District Attorney hiring an attorney with zero prosecutorial experience to be special counsel to prosecute Trump, and they happen to be the person they are having an affair with, and paying for a higher than the market. Yeah, but like Dev will say, sure, but like that's one case. That's just one case, Artemis Fowl. You just show that one person is correct. You didn't show that it's systemic. If federal employee salary was capped at the median household income, lobbying was made illegal, and stock trading was off limits to policy and their family, I think it would help. So you're asking the people... See, this is why it's interesting. You're asking the people that benefit from corruption to try to crack down on corruption. Do you not see why that is not possible? And secondly, even if it was, like, let's say, but by some miracle, you get someone that does literally everything that you suggested, what's to stop the new guys from reversing the decision? That is why I'm angry at them. They keep refusing every opportunity to grow. But it doesn't matter. They're probably angry as well. And even if everyone is angry, what would happen? Look at Mexico, right? Like, look at Mexico. People are angry with the cartels. They don't like the cartels. So fucking what? Do you think the cartels give a shit? No, they don't. Be angry. Okay, well, look at them. They're angry. Nice. That's cute. Adorable. I'm getting convinced that Dev argues in bad faith. No, unironically, he doesn't. I can definitely vouch for the fact that Dev isn't arguing in bad faith. I can tell you how you can fix corruption, actually. Hold on. Milton Friedman had the idea. There is something you can do with corruption. So Milton Friedman realized that in order to accomplish good things, you don't vote for good people. It's not how it works. You need to make it financially profitable for people to do good, right? So the moment you make it financially profitable for politicians to do good things, that's when you get good things. I mean, look at woke ideology, which is exactly what I said, this nepotism, right? It's like you hire based on nepotism, you don't hire based on merit. Why do they do it? Because it's financially profitable to do it. They don't fucking care that they're hiring based on nepotism and they're putting people in a plane that probably don't belong to be there. Or that they're making engineers that probably have nothing to do next to a plane. And they're putting people in danger. They don't give a shit. Because it's profitable. They're making money, so they don't care. It's not a person's self-interest to do their job competently. Making a woke game has little to do with self-interesting. Oh my god, where do I begin? Okay, imagine you're a mayor, right? And you have like this company that comes up and they say that they're going to build you a bridge. But you know they're a shady company. You know that they don't do really good job. Like usually their constructions, they deteriorate. But they say, hey, we're going to give you $10 million, you in person. We're giving you $10 million, and all you have to do is to pay us with your taxpayer money. You pay us $100 million with taxpayer money, right? Not out of your pocket, and we give you $10 million in yours. That is corruption. Now sure, maybe, like you will have this mayor that is like a complete ideologue, 100% devoted to his community. You know, like he would never allow for something like that. Like that is a possibility, yes. But most people... Oh, here's actually, you know, the most common case of corruption in hospitals. And this is probably in the United States as well. Let's say you have like 7 commercial pills that work with blood pressure, right? And they're from like 7 different companies. And you have like this big pharma company coming to you and say like, hey, if you push our drug, we're going to give you benefits. Sometimes it's not even financial. It's like, if you push our drug, we're going to sponsor the payment for your next medical convention. So like next time you fly to Haga, when you fly to Haga, we're going to pay for the ticket. When you get there, we're going to pay for the hotel and wine and dine you. All you have to do is when you have a patient with a heart complication, you give her our medicine. Do you know how many doctors are fine with this? I mean, this is common standard, by the way. This is not even, right? They've argued that even if the government caused massive inflation and caused people's savings to evaporate, it is the individual's fault that they have to run up credit cards to live paycheck to paycheck, not the government's. Oh my fucking god, where do I even begin? To be fair, there is some argument to be had that living paycheck to paycheck is not a financially conservative way of living, and it is dangerous. But that doesn't excuse the fact that the government prints fucking money. The government shouldn't print money and cause inflation. This is the dumbest argument. Like, I don't live paycheck to paycheck, but I live fucking worse because the government prints money. So, such a dumb fucking... I didn't even know that, Artemis Fowl. Why did you trigger me now? Oh, God. Speaking of corruption, look at Kenyan government. Mr. Beast, how dare you come here and provide infrastructure, wells, and bridges when we are pocketing the money for ourselves and not helping our people? Okay, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Beast went into Kenya, an African nation, and he built a well. Now, unironically, I do not understand why building wells is so difficult. I'm not trolling. I'm not being no, genuine question. And I'm sure there's an answer to this. Like, I'm genuinely positive that there is an answer of why it is so difficult to build a well. I mean, the Romans were building wells. Like people... Before Jesus Christ was born, and you had the Magi and all that shit. In fact, I'm willing to bet that the Magi, on their way to see Jesus, as they were following the star, they must have stopped next to a well. Like this is people in rural areas build wells without access to modern tools. Right? Now I understand that Africa is a more tropical place, the climate is different. But why the fuck does a YouTuber need to go there to build wells? I just no, like seriously, it's a legit question. Like if anyone can give me the answer. I heard one version, which is that if you're downhill, people who build wells uphill, if they contaminate the water, that when you make a well downhill, the water is contaminated. But this doesn't explain how the fuck did Mr. Beast do it then. Right? Like, if that's the case, like, how did Mr. Beast manage to... another one was, like, you need authorization, like, you need a license to build a well. Which, again, raises the question, like, how the fuck did Mr. Beast manage to get the license? So like, I just wanted to hear an explanation. Why is it difficult to build a well? Like, does anyone know? Because it's not just Mr. Beast, right? Like, there's a lot of NGOs that are like, and I think, like, PewDiePie donated to one of them. And it's like, donate money so we build wells in Africa. And I'm like, but why, though? Like, why aren't the people in Africa building wells in Africa? Like, no, like, it's... No, it's not even like people in the chat, it's like IQ. Dude, are you telling me that people from 2,000 years ago were related to Einstein? I mean, some of them must have been. But, like, you can't tell me that the Magi that went to Jesus to see him and give him gifts, and they found the well, you can't tell me that the people that built the well back then were significantly smarter than people... I refuse to believe that. Anyway. No, seriously, like, I need to get someone from Africa to tell me, like, why is it a problem? Because I'm pretty sure there must be. But anyway, right, so Mr. Beast goes there, builds a well. And then you have, like, some politicians from Africa, like saying, oh my god, it's like, oh, the white savior complex. You came here to build it. It's like, why the fuck didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? Now, I think that one of the reasons that it may be difficult to build a well, it's not that the well is difficult to make, it's that it's difficult to maintain. So maybe that is, like, one of the reasons, but again, that's my hypothesis. Apparently a well is actually very difficult to maintain, so maybe there's a little bit of that. Only Egyptians and Romans built any wells or bridges? No, I'm pretty sure the Chinese did as well. That there were, like, many other civilizations. Dude, like, again, you read the Bible, and there are wells in the Bible, right? So, like, even if you don't believe that the Bible is real, and you think that the Bible is written by man, like, the person that wrote it from that time period was aware that wells exist. Don't take my word for it. He tried to claim that people complaining about the economy are just dumb because their real wages increased 0.5% after multiple years of 0.8% losses and real wages due to inflation. There is no conversation to be had with that man. Like, honestly. The fact that he votes concerns me greatly. How the fuck is, like, dude, who cares how people live their life, okay? Like, that is not the issue. You as the government, you should not print money. Period. I mean, you print a little bit, you know, in order, cause, like, if the economy grows, yeah, like, a little bit of inflation every now and then is good so that you don't cause deflation. Fine. But what the Bidenomics did is unacceptable. Honestly, it's like, oh god, it's frustrating is what it is. Romans built the Great Wall. They did. Well, it wasn't the Chinese wall. It was the one that they built with the Picts, if I remember correctly. See, I also think about the Roman Empire. Why talk about this if you don't know anything about what? About building wells? I mean, just because I don't know it doesn't mean I can't talk about it. Like Mr. Beast went to Africa, built a well. Politicians mostly affected. Do you think crypto should exist? It's like such an interesting question. It's like, do you think this should exist or do you think that should exist? Everything that exists has benefits and negative traits to it. Yes, like crypto should exist. Bring back the gold standard. But then we won't get CBDC. You think building a well is easy? Dude, let me show you. Hold on. Let me show you something. I'm not saying, like are we talking if building a well is easy as in the labor required or like the knowledge to build one, right? Because we have like here in Romania in the fucking mountains, right? And this, I guarantee to you, is built by the person living here. Like him and his family, they go together and they fucking build these things. Right? Do you think that they went to what did the Americans have, like Costco or no not Costco, Home Depot, right? You think they went to Home Depot to build this? Do you think like they use some high technology? No. Right? Like my question is genuine because you say I don't know. I do know because I lived in a rural community. People build wells by themselves using handmade tools. It's not like Mr. Beast that came there with like some high-tech American equipment. So my question is legit. Like I'm not trolling. I'm not insinuating that the people there don't. My question is like why? What is the reason that you need a YouTuber? Just so you can understand what we're talking about, right? This house doesn't have sewage. It has an outhouse. Do you see? This is where they take a shit. In the middle of the winter, when the snow is all the way up, they have to get out of their house and go all the way here to take a shit. This is the level of technology that these people are having. Okay? It's like a medieval time period. This is in my country. Many such cases. And yet they have this miracle, which is the fucking... How do they do it? Like, if you ask me, is building a well easy? The answer is like the physical labor required to build a well is difficult. It's intense. But the knowledge is not. Like, people have been building wells for thousands of years. This is not like some mysterious technology, okay? Like, we're not asking them to make the new Pfizer vaccine. We're not asking them to, like do groundbreaking research into ARN vaccine. No. We're telling, like, building a well. A fucking hole in the ground from which water comes up. Say, come on. And again, like I'm not saying that they don't know how. All I'm asking is, like, what's preventing them? It can be, like, many things that prevent them. It can be government that doesn't allow them, like no license. It can be that the water is polluted. I just want to know which one is it. Can you prove that it wasn't drilled? Well, I can't prove to you, but I give you my word of honor. All right, I give you my word that when I was a kid, I saw the villagers dig up a well using nothing but shovels. They did not drill it. They did not have any expensive machinery. All right, and take into account that before the invention of the steam engine, people made wells. Like, this is not... The very fact that we're having this conversation is bizarre. Like, do you not believe that before the steam engine, people actually used shovels and various tools in order to make wells? In fact, I'm willing to bet, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that even before the invention of a shovel, people still dug wells. Come on. So, the thing is, like, I know a little bit about wells. It's just that I don't know why they can't do it in Africa. That's the different question. You understand location is extremely important with wells. Yes, which begs the question, why did Mr. Beast do it? Like, you're still not answering the problem. It's like Mr. Beast went there and made the well. And my question is, why did Mr. Beast have to go there to make the well? And even with the location, take into account that people from medieval societies, okay, they didn't have access to GPS. They didn't have access to, like, modern equipment. And yet they still knew where to drill. Using whatever methods they had available. You know, like, I don't even know if they had to use beasts of burdens to do it. Right? Because there's a lot of medieval machinery and tools that requires beasts of burdens to operate. I don't think, like, making a well needs any of that. I think, like, you just need, like, a cart in order to carry away the rubble and the dirt. But like, whatever. I don't know. It's the rural South. We had well, and every 5 years a guy would come out and do a maintenance update on the well. Last update, he added the filter system. Literally every single Romanian rural village has wells. I don't know. It's just weird. I refuse to believe it's racism. I refuse to believe it's like, well, they just don't know how. Because there are wells in Africa. Like the knowledge of how to make a well exists. It's just like, for some reason, it's... A lot of these places you need to dig 50 to 60 feet straight down. I am willing to bet. I don't even need to bet. In medieval societies, alright? Like, we're talking before the car was invented. When people had horse, okay? Even before gunpowder. They would dig mines that were deeper than 50 and 60 fucking feet. And the well that Mr. Beast dug wasn't 50 feet deep. Come on, stop trolling. Like, at least, you know what? Just calm down. Take a step back. Analyze the situation. And realize that it doesn't make sense. Alright? Like, Mr. Beast went there. Didn't make a 50-foot deep well. He didn't go into the Guinness World Record book for digging the largest hole that mankind has ever seen. He literally went with, like, a machinery, went ploop into the ground and water came out. That's it. Was clean water. I don't know. I can't explain it. You can't explain it either. Like, none of your explanations make any sense. Like, number one, it's they don't have the tools. Yes, they do. Number two, the level is too deep. No, it wasn't. Anyway, yeah, like, literally, that's why ladders were invented. But even before the ladders, people used ropes. Come on. The only reason you say these things is because I'm willing to bet you didn't grow up in a rural village. Like, if you grew up in a rural village, you would see the bit. How the fuck do the Amish build wells? Like, the Amish don't use technology. They have wells. Come on. They raise barns. Do you know how fast, 5 Amish can build a barn? It's insane. It's almost like it's pre-assembled or something. They get together and then the barn comes out. And they don't use any modern tools. Like, people knew how to do these things before they had access to all of the technology that we do have today. My great-grandfather had a well. Many such cases. There are more child miners digging up diamonds than there are miners in the rest of the world. These are massive strip mines dug by hand. Yes, I know. I see them on YouTube. Again, like, the idea that, well, they don't know how to make hole. No, I don't accept that. They do know how to make hole. The question is, why don't they? And I'm pretty sure it's government corruption. That's what I was trying to get. I'm willing to bet that there are government regulations preventing them from doing it. I lived in a small mountain town where everyone had wells. Then why are you arguing with me? I'm literally saying that making wells is difficult as in it's labor intensive, but it's not difficult technology wise. Like, we know how to do it. I mean, just because you don't, that doesn't mean that other people don't know. Honestly, like, what are we going to argue for next? It's like, is making a fire without matches difficult? You know, like, we're going to have that conversation? Hello, ectobiologist, and good morning. It's not about the laziness. Like, I was told by someone they're lazy. No, they're not lazy, because, like, they actually travel far more to go to the nearest clean water source. And that effort added daily, it doesn't make sense. Just build a well. Again, I don't care, man. Like Faderus. So okay, hold on. No, Faderus, you're telling me that the reason you don't have wells in Africa is because to make a well, it's too deep. Yes? And my question to you is, how did people 2,000 years in the past, with the technology available to them, were digging the same depths of wells in the fucking Middle East? So like, you're telling me that today, in 2024, with all the access to the information and the technology that people have now, which I would assume is a lot more advanced than people had back 2,000 years ago, and today they can't build a well, but back then they could. Like, what the fuck happened? Did the dark age of mankind came up, and we lost the knowledge and all of the scientific amazement discoveries of the fucking Middle East before Jesus Christ was born? Like people that lived in tribes in the desert, they had the knowledge and the expertise to build these fucking deep wells that went all the way to the ground, that sparked water in the sky, and they didn't use any technology, right? But for some goddamn mysterious reason, people today, in the age of smartphones and computers and video cameras, they can't build a well anymore. It just can't be done. It's like, how do we do it? We don't know. It's like, but the Europeans can do it. Yes, but they're over there, we're over here. How can we do it? We don't know. God damn it, it's too deep. Dude, come the fuck on. No, seriously, it's the fact that we're having the conversation is beyond ridiculous. Ah. And the fact that, you know, like, I don't agree the other part. It's like, well, they're not intelligent. Like, you're telling me, like, people 2,000 years ago in the past were smarter back then? No. Absolutely not. Why is this topic big for you? I don't know. I just got into it. This is like one of the things, like, I must know. I need to know, why is it not possible? And so far, I haven't heard a single satisfactory answer. Hold up. Yeah, no, I think, like, ChatGPT is saying that it's government corruption. There we fucking go. Yeah, you need an authorization to build a well. And they have, like, legislation that doesn't allow you to build wells if you're downhill. There you go. Oh my fucking god. How did I know? How did I know, Chad? How did I know? The only people who know how to dig wells are the federal government, no one else. Yes. No, like, apparently the people uphill, they pollute the water. So that the people downhill, even if they build a well, it's dirty water. ChatGPT once said, how would you even know if the Romans were smarter? Like, how would you even know? Because you don't have, like, the average Roman alive in order to measure his smarts. Anyway, let me show you something. This was quite hilarious. So this got the, as the title says, it got a lot of people upset. Someone decided to play a prank on TikTok and they tinfoiled the house. So everything was tinfoiled. I don't get the prank, to be honest. Like a prank is to see, I don't know, like to startle someone, to like you go into your house and everything is tinfoiled. And you're like, well, but why though? Like, you know, it's just. But I suppose like the reason it got into Yahoo News is the fact that most people are concerned about the environment. It's like, oh, the tinfoil has a near infinite recycling rate, and do you know how much carbon and how much toxic waste and This just encourages me to tinfoil my house as well. It's a fire hazard, isn't it, though? Like, this is illegal if you do it in a public place. Fire hazard. How much work is it? You know, like, the thing is, they're saying that they managed to prank their son and daughter-in-law. But in reality, they pranked themselves. That, like, removing the tinfoil is not that difficult. But setting it down is. Like, they probably did a lot more work and a lot more effort than the people that are just going to have to remove it. But still, I love the wah. Yeah, like if you just want to prank someone, why not just TP their house? Like they used to do that on Halloween, just throw toilet paper on their house and that's it. Update on the $50,000 cartoon guy. Oh, my man. His Discord comments were leaked. He had opinions that trans people should love themselves for who they are instead of lying to themselves. Well, that's a really Chat, do we allow this? Like, how can you allow something like that? How can you allow? I love this. It's like the American battle cry, huh? Like, how do you allow? How can you allow someone to think this way? Oh, allow. Average water table depth in Africa is 30 feet. Average well depth is around 150 feet for clean water. Africans pull water normally from unsafe ground sources anyway, unnecessary overcomplication. To be honest, I don't know, like, the rural areas in my country, how deep the wells are. But like, I drank water from the village that I grew up in and looked clean. You know, as clean as it can be, because, like, obviously you probably have contamination and shit. Like, there's nothing stopping a frog from jumping in there, you know? But, it is what it is. Most of these folk were raised in urban areas, that well we had growing up is still functional and the water is drinkable. Also, chat, you guys need to read Intellectuals and Race by Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is going to get a community guideline strike on YouTube one of these days. The deleted music video, wait, he deleted it? He made for an adult-themed channel, was then leaked as retaliation on his birthday. No proof he actually went bankrupt. It was cancelled by a woke mob. The reason people say that he went bankrupt is because he uploaded a video asking Patreons for more money, saying that if he doesn't get money, he may not be able to continue his channel. So that's why people are saying that he got bankrupt. Now, it is quite possible, of course, that this is a grift. Right? Like, he's like, oh shit, someone leaked my video, might as well do some e-begging. For those of you who don't know, like, what we're talking about, there's this guy which, I think, like, he makes videos for kids. On YouTube Kids, I mean. something like a rap beatboxer or something. He's got a cartoon character. And he commissioned a really nice animation, I would say. That's like 2 minutes long, music video, where he gets raped by this chick. Now the animation isn't not safe for work. It's actually safe. It stops right before Charlie is on top of him and she's about to perform the deed. But apparently it costs 50 grand to make, right? Half the price of my house. And didn't even get to smash the cartoon girl. Now, after he uploads it, well, apparently he didn't upload it. Like, after this got leaked, he makes a video saying that he blew almost his entire budget, and if people want to see more of his stuff, they have to donate to his Patreon, right? Because otherwise his series that people pay for and they know his channel for isn't going to be a thing anymore. So this is why people are saying he got bankrupt. Now it's interesting that I didn't know that he didn't upload the video, because the thing I was thinking, it's like, okay, so you spend 50 grand on this level of quality. If you put it on YouTube, you know, you're going to have some people donating to you and you get a lot of views and clicks. So maybe you're going to get like some of your money back. And it's free promotion because like no one would know about that guy. I mean, well, actually some people know about that guy. But like he's now a lot more famous because of this, right? Like everyone talks about him. He's trending. All of that stuff. So I thought that, okay, well, it's actually a smart investment in a way. Like if you're rich, right? If you got a lot of money, like it's a good way to promote yourself. Because if like 1 million people talk about you and like 10% of those people that talk about you check your channel and maybe they like your content and they stay around, like that's free advertisement. But now that I'm hearing, it's like, no, actually, he didn't want the video to be leaked. Like someone leaked it because he made fun of trans people. Well, not he made fun. He had wrong opinions about trans people. And it's like, oh, naruhodo. Like if I had money, okay, so like this is what I don't get. Like let's say you have a fetish, like you really want to smash a cartoon girl, right? And you want an animation, just live to D it. Like get a good artist, and maybe pay like 300 or 500 bucks for the art, right? It needs to be drawn on layers. And then you get like someone that knows live 2D and they animate it and there you go. Why the fuck would you want hand-drawn frame by frame animation? Like a lot of people don't understand the work that was put in, because like you're looking at a video and it's 2 minutes long and you're like, well, why would anyone pay 50 grand? Every single frame has to be drawn by hand. This would probably take an entire animation studio 1 month to complete. See, there you go, Fadrus. Like, literally what I've been saying, right? So, number 1 is the maintenance. And number 2 is that they can't clean the water, right? And the people uphill, the agriculture, the pollution, and the mining are dirtying the water sources. It's none of the arguments you gave me, right? It's not that they don't know how to make a big hole. It's not that they don't have the tools to dig it. It's that the water is not clean. And the reason the water is not clean is because of government corruption. Because if the government had laws and regulations regarding the water, instead of like just giving it to the people that lobby for them, then they wouldn't have this problem. Yeah, Fadrus, it took 10 minutes for you to research. I realized that literally every single solution that you proposed before now was bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They do know how to dig it. They do have the ability to dig it. It's just that the water isn't clean. And not to mention, you know, it's not just, oh my god, it took 10 minutes to Google it. I was trying to figure it out myself. That's the fun in it. It's like, of course it can take 10 minutes to Google it. It's like, you gotta figure it out for yourself. It's a lot more fun. It's not like this is a test. It's not like it improves my life or I can make more money now that I have the information. It was just like something that I was trying to think about myself and figure out why it's a thing. You didn't propose any solutions? Maybe, me no speak English. The arguments that you gave were ridiculous. And no. You said they don't have the technology to dig the well. They do have the technology to dig the well. It's just that once they dug the well, the water inside is contaminated. At least that's what you found on Google, right? Now that makes sense. But they can dig hole in ground. Like, we know how to dig holes in ground. It's not... Anyway, it was a dishonest question I asked to make a lame political point. Was it how is it a dishonest question to ask, like, why people can't build a well? How is it dishonest? And I even said that I'm not trying to make a political point. I'm genuinely curious. And you were like, oh no, it's because they don't have the technology. Oh no, like, do you think building a well is hard? Oh no, it's like, do you know how deep wells are? It's like, they can't do it. Can you dig a 100-foot hole? Yes, if I bring my entire family, I can fucking dig a 100-foot hole. Yes, literally, you can. If you have a community of people, you can build a 100-foot hole. Jesus fucking Christ, it's like, oh my god, I genuinely wonder, like, people like you, what do you think human beings did before the invention of technology? Like honestly, do you think that in the past people couldn't do anything? It's like, well, we need to build a mine, but we can't. We don't have access to drilling. It's not invented yet. You know, they would go in a mine and it's like, well, it's dark. We can't see. Like, can someone bring a flashlight? No, the light bulb isn't invented yet. How did people build castles, by the way? How did people build castles? They didn't have access to cranes. Oh, Fadrius, can you build a castle? Can you go into the Carpathian Mountains and build a castle? Oh, you can't? Well, if you can't, then castles can't be built now, can they? Fuck me. Thank you, Asar Seamaker, for giving me, for giving me 5 membership cards. So you can't. Literally, if you go into an Amish community, right? And you have to build a well, they will teach you how to fucking do it. And you can. Yes, you can. It's tiresome, it's backbreaking work, but it is fucking doable. It's not like something that if you do, people will give you a standing ovation. You know, there's literally YouTube videos with guys that go into the fucking Norwegian forest and they build cabins and shit with their own hands. Some of them even make wells. How did people build the pyramids? I don't know. Can you build the pyramids? Fadrus, can you build the pyramids? Well, if you can't build the pyramids, then no one can. Right? If you can't, then they can't be built. The pyramids don't exist. Debunked. It's Bry. Oh, hello, Bry. Thank you for the well question. I do have wondered about the same problem. But what's the problem essentially? The water is contaminated. and they can't maintain it. But even then, like, if you can't maintain it, just build a fucking new one. It's, God, I don't know. It's just weird. They did have cranes. It was just powered by a man in a wheel with a rope. I actually saw that. Like, that was so ingenious. Like, I actually saw that. Yeah, like, they had, like, cranes, and they had, like, this guy that was running around the wheel. And the wheel and the rope was pulling the shit up. Ancient aliens came on Earth and built the pyramids. Oh, that's the story of Stargate, isn't it? What is the maintenance? Well, the maintenance usually is like cleaning the well, like going down and cleaning it, installing water filters. Sometimes if the water gets dirty, you have to pull out most of it, and then it regenerates over time. I don't know. Like I'm pretty sure if you're in a rural community, they tell you what the maintenance is. Um. Anyway, I think we solved the well problem. Um. Like one of the things that I remember, like when I grew up with my grandparents, they would even cover the well, right? Like if you leave the well uncovered, then it rains inside. It actually contaminates the water. Which was better, Stargate movie or show? The show, 100%. The movie was good as well, but like the movie is the starting point for the show. I hear you can purify the water by putting it in clay pots. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you put it in silver chalices, it actually purifies it. Yeah, the movie of Stargate is good, but it's not as good as the show. Anyway, right? Thank you guys so much for the donations. I really appreciate it. And thank you for helping me solve my dilemma. Was really curious about it. And I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.